What if everything you've been taught about self-improvement is wrong? They say, be disciplined, push harder, wake up earlier, sacrifice more. But the truth, discipline is a lie. Not because effort isn't real, not because hard work doesn't matter, but because discipline alone is not what drives lasting change. In fact, it's the very reason most people stay stuck, chasing an illusion that keeps breaking them down. Let me show you a better way. A way rooted in philosophy, neuroscience, and something much deeper than willpower. Now, let's shift lenses, because this problem isn't new. Over 2,000 years ago, Socrates warned against what he called akrasia, the state of knowing the right thing, but failing to act on it. Why does that happen? Because we assume knowledge plus discipline equals action. But Socrates understood something different. Action comes from desire aligned with understanding. Aristotle took this further. He believed that we become virtuous not by forcing ourselves, but by building identity through habit. He didn't say, just try harder. He said, we are what we repeatedly do. Discipline might spark the first few repetitions, but only habit and meaning make them stick. Jump forward to Nietzsche. He despised the idea of blind obedience to rules. To him, the truly powerful human isn't disciplined. He is devoted to becoming. He writes, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Discipline cracks without meaning. Devotion endures. Let's bring this into the modern world. Psychologists like Dr. B.J. Fogg at Stanford and James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, both say the same thing. Behavior is not driven by willpower. It's driven by identity, environment, and emotion. Discipline is a short-term strategy. It gets you off the couch once, maybe twice. But real change comes when your behavior becomes automatic, when it's tied to who you are. And neuroscience backs this up. Willpower is a limited resource. The brain can only resist for so long before it falls back into the comfort zone. But when your actions feel aligned with who you want to be, when your identity says, this is just what I do, resistance fades. So the question becomes, how do you stop relying on discipline and start building identity? Here's the secret. The opposite of discipline is not laziness. The opposite of discipline is devotion. Discipline says, I have to. Devotion says, I get to. Discipline forces you to push uphill. Devotion transforms the hill into a path worth walking. Think about a musician. They don't practice scales every day out of sheer discipline. They do it because they're devoted to music. Think about a parent waking up every night for their baby. That's not discipline. That's love. That's identity. Discipline is external. Devotion is internal. When you're devoted, your habits become expressions of who you are, not punishments for who you're not. So how do you move from discipline to devotion? It starts with one powerful question. Who am I becoming? Don't ask, what should I force myself to do? Ask, what kind of person naturally does the things I want to do? Want to write? Become a writer, even if you haven't published a word yet. Want to eat clean? Become someone who respects their body. Want to meditate, train, learn, grow. Stop trying to control yourself and start rebuilding yourself. Step by step, habit by habit, identity by identity. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to align. Even the Stoics, often misquoted as champions of grit and toughness, understood this. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That's not about discipline. That's about living in harmony with your principles. Epictetus didn't say, "Force yourself to be better." He said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." In other words, become who you are. So no, you don't need more discipline. You need more clarity. You need more honesty. You need more devotion to the life you actually want to live. Because when you fall in love with your path, you don't have to drag yourself down it anymore. The gym becomes a temple. Your craft becomes prayer. Your habits become your way of being. So stop asking, "How can I force myself to do this?" Start asking, "How can I fall in love with becoming the person who does this every single day?" If this resonated with you, you're not alone. This channel is for the thinkers, the doers, the ones who know there's something deeper than grind. Leave a comment. What are you no longer forcing and finally becoming? And remember, you don't need to fight yourself to grow. You just need to remember who you are and start living like it.